Itulah. So, saya diberitahu semalam dalam ini kan 20 orang master of chocolate, tapi dia salah satunya. So, rasa macam bangga tak? Dia pergi datang you guys ilmu kan, share teknik semua. So, hari ni kita ada 4 resepi, 2 resepi pagi dan 2 resepi petang. Biasalah, petang dia datang meja ni juga. Ada lagi, share. Okay. Thank you untuk hari ni yang datang semua. So, kita dah boleh start lah. Ataupun Encik Harina nak kenalkan diri lagi ke? Apa-apa soalan boleh tanya. Sebelum itu, minta tolong angkat tangan sebab saya akan bagi mic. Okay, terima kasih. Enjoy kelas
Okay, good morning everyone. I see some familiar faces also from yesterday. Thank you for coming again. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Amanda. So I'm from Callebaut Group. So under Callebaut, we have a lot of brands under us as well. So, like yesterday is Houten Professional, and today we'll be talking about more about Callebaut, which is our Belgium chocolate brand that we have. So I'm based in Singapore. So I have a chocolate academy there in Singapore where we conduct classes as well and trainings for customers and everyone as well. So today we'll be talking more about the new latest product that we recently launched this year. If you all came for the event launch, then probably you all have tasted some of the ruby chocolate and the next that we have also. But before that, I will talk a bit more about Callebaut as well. So the common or the hero range that we always call it is the dark, milk and white. So under Callebaut Group, we call this our hero range, which is the 811, 823 and W2. So this is our core range that everywhere in the world, they are all using this hero range that we have. So it's a very common dark milk white. So for Callebaut, we were also very innovative to create another new chocolate that time. We had the Callebaut Gold. You can see the last packet over here. So this is Callebaut Gold. So it was launched many years ago, but it's not as popular as our common hero range. So this is our gold chocolate, which is actually no flavoring, no coloring as well. So this chocolate is actually a caramelized sugar. So that's how you get the caramelized taste in the chocolate itself, and it's slightly salted. So it's not something that you think, oh, caramel is going to be sweet, but it's a salted caramel chocolate that we have. It's called Gold. Then, of course, with the latest innovation, of course, we have is the ruby chocolate.
Dah nampak tak kat luar? Baru punya produk, dah nampak?
No, stop. It's all inside and here next door. So yeah, so this is our late the repacking one they have. Okay. That means still have stock. Okay. So anyway, so this is our latest innovation from Callebaut. So we are very proud of this innovation of this pink ruby. We call it our ruby chocolate. So why we call it ruby is because it comes from a cocoa that is actually like pink in color. If you can see from the banner itself, the cocoa bean is actually like pink in color.
Yeah.
So all these beans actually we source from Brazil, we source from Ecuador, we source from Ivory Coast as well. So all these beans are specially for ruby as only. So we even for this chocolate itself is all natural, no flavoring, and people will start to question why is it pink. So we also cannot disclose what is the reason why, but it's just naturally pink, and we don't add any coloring for sure, and no flavoring. So the flavor that you get to taste for this ruby is actually like a very zesty yogurt. If you like yogurt, something sour notes and some very fruity notes as well. So this is the latest, this is a Ruby 2. So this is RB2. So previously we launched 4 years ago around the world, it was RB1. So for Malaysia market, because RB1 couldn't get in due to some regulations, so that's why Callebaut, we came out with another recipe, which is why this is 2. That's why I was explaining to you why this is 1 or 2. So 1 is the first recipe, 2 is the second recipe. That's how we recognize our products. Then maybe people brought in from elsewhere because it's not supposed to be available in Malaysia. Yes, they brought in from like probably in Singapore or somewhere to sell it, but it's not halal for that one. So this RB2 is considered halal for now. That's why we can bring it into Malaysia. So that's why it's the latest recipe. It's called RB2. Then of course the newest chocolate innovation also that we have is called Next, NEXXT. So we actually have it in dark. We also have it in milk. So this is completely dairy-free, completely vegan. So how can I claim that this is actually 100% vegan or dairy? Is because this is actually a completely different production of a different factory. Meaning the factory itself is also a nut-free, a dairy-free production. So you don't have traces of any nuts or chocolate or soy or anything. Because if you are talking about if you were to produce this chocolate in the same factory with the 811, 823, then you will have cross-contamination, correct? So this factory itself is really separated from all this normal range that we have. So if for people who are really allergic or intolerant, they can eat this chocolate as well. It's safe for them. Because you don't want people to get allergic reaction if they really have intolerance, right? So this is really completely a different factory that we have that produces this Next chocolate. So of course, dark chocolate, Next dark doesn't contain dairy, right? So we have also the milk one. So people will ask, what do you substitute milk with for the dairy-free? Because you need milk, right? So we actually use tiger nuts. I'm not sure if you all know what is tiger nuts, or we call it shufa. So it's a type of nuts that we use to substitute dairy for the milk chocolate. So if you Google and you see what is tiger nuts, you will understand better what is tiger nuts. So we call it shufa. I mean, for us, we call it shufa. So it's a type of nuts that we use to substitute dairy for our Next milk chocolate. So these are some information that we would like to just share with you. So because Callebaut, now we have, previously we have only 3, then when we had gold, it was 4. So now with Ruby, we will say we have 5 colors of Callebaut. So usually that's how when we do trainings or customer presentation, we always try to present the whole range of colors to the customers. That you can see dark milk, white, you can see a salted caramel color and a pink chocolate. So we always talk about 5 colors of Callebaut. That's how we present to customers also. And of course, for a niche range of, for vegan, then also we can also talk about Next chocolate for dark and milk. Okay, so any questions so far? So just some basic knowledge also regarding packaging itself or storage of chocolates as well. So very important that you always read your labels. You can see a lot of information in your packaging. Even if you don't know how to do tempering, you can know how to do tempering from here actually. A lot of people don't know that packaging has a lot of information as well. So and the percentage of the chocolate and how fluid the chocolate it is as well. And if you are more adventurous, if you want to know where this bean come from, you can always scan the QR code over here. You will know this packet of chocolate, the beans comes from where. So there's a lot of things that you can see from the packaging itself as well. And of course, for us as Barry Callebaut, we always talk about sustainability. So sustainability is something very important for Barry Callebaut. We try to focus as much as we can. So some of our product, other brands that we have is already 100% sustainable, which is Karma brand that we have is under Swiss chocolate. So that one is 100% sustainable ingredients. But so far for Callebaut, we have a sustainable product that is cocoa product and only oil, the fat products. That means the oil or palm oil or cocoa butter. The sugar and dairy are not sustainable yet, but we are moving towards that. So hopefully by, I think our target was 2025 to get everything sustainable, 100% sustainable ingredients. So soon, yeah, 2 more years. Yeah, so then also because why is it important about sustainability is because we want your future generations to have chocolates as well. So that's why Barry Callebaut has this initiative to do like all this sustainability program. So they actually help a lot of farmers in Africa and other parts of the world that produces cocoa. We support all this child labor thing. We try to avoid all this, and we give them education. We even teach them how to do pruning, how to get more crops for their plantation. So we do a lot of these programs behind the scene for them to produce more cocoa. So in future, all your children, your grandchildren will have chocolates to eat also. So this is our program. We don't want it to be like cut off straight away. Like Malaysia used to be a very big plantation of cocoa. Now it's no more anymore. I mean, it's really, really sad. But then in Africa, we are trying to do that to create more, create more plantation, to create more awareness for people to know why is it important. Why is it important to continue to have all this cocoa thing in the future? So this is part of our Barry Callebaut thing. We not only sell chocolate, we also try to help to improve the lifestyle of the farmers. So let me start today. Probably today we're going to do 2 recipes first. Then in the afternoon will be another 2 recipes. But for the morning session, there won't be any ruby, only in the afternoon. So for the first recipe, I'll be doing a chocolate and vegan cookie. So I'll be using the dark chocolate and the next milk as well. And another blueberry pecan bar, because they don't have cherry over here. I used cherry previously. Then it's something very simple to make as well, and not much of baking, only the cookie only we need to bake. Okay, so for the cookie, I will not do the demo of how to make a cookie dough, but I will explain as well, but I'll do a bit of finishing as well. Cookie, okay. So let me explain a bit about the cookie. So basically the ingredients is actually using all-purpose flour. And cocoa powder, we use the cacao berry extra brut. I'm not sure if you're familiar. Cacao berry is also in the Barry Callebaut group. So we tend to use a lot of extra brut cocoa powder. Then the recipe also has some salt, some baking soda, some margarine, sugar, some white vinegar, and flaxseed. So because it's vegan, right, so we cannot use eggs. So flaxseed is the substitute as the binding agent for your cookie. So that's how we use flaxseed for making vegan stuff. So basically just mixing the ingredient like, butter and sugar, everything together, fold in the dry ingredients, and basically let the dough rest. Then, of course, then the next day you can start baking the cookie. So I like to use, like yesterday, talking about, I like to use a lot of silicone molds when I'm doing baking. So I like, for this cookie, I'm going to use like this donut shape. So donut shape cookie. So all this cookie I already prepared earlier. So I already scaled it as well. So each portion is the same.
Kita boleh buat line shape tak?
Boleh?
Boleh kan?
Boleh. Ada mold lain pun boleh.
Ada.
But because it's like Christmas, right? So I'm trying to make it like a wreath, yeah. So that's why it's round. So you can of course do other shapes as you want. Also for cakes, also for cookies as well. A lot of application mousse also you can use it. Today actually there's one recipe. The second recipe is using a bit of the gold for the pecan bar thing. So I'm using some salted caramel later. So today's session is all about couverture. So probably some later there will be some demonstration on how we do tempering as well. So it's very different from compound like yesterday. Compound very straightforward. You don't need. That's why the classes ended very fast and quick, right? So to yeah, even to melt my couverture, I will use microwave as well. So Chef Joey is helping me to melt the chocolate. So for the chocolate, actually also is the same like what I explained yesterday regarding like if when you're melting your compound or even couverture, always in intervals, meaning every 30 seconds, medium high, and do not put like 1 minute straight away to the microwave. So also for if you're talking about you're going to melt the chocolate like in bain-marie, the double boiler, you also need to be very careful. But I don't usually like to use bain-marie because there's always water content, there's steam. So somehow when you're melting it, if you overheat also the water content, the steam will go to your chocolate. So somehow your chocolate will tend to be very thick after melting. So that's why I always use microwave very often. It's safer also because chocolate, as you know, water and chocolate are the worst enemies. So they cannot get in contact. Once they get in contact, your chocolate or compound will be hardened, then it cannot be used anymore. So that's why I always like to melt my chocolate in the microwave because it's dry. So water somehow when you're doing double boiling, there's some risk of getting humidity into your chocolate as well. So I'll bake the cookie at this oven at 175. Probably I'll try about 12 to 15 minutes first.
Any question?
Tak ada.
Chef, is there a particular brand of silicone bakeware that you would recommend? Because, you know, we can find very El Cheapo ones from China. So, you know, there's always the feeling whether, you know, all the chemicals going to leach and melt into our food and then we go and makan that. So
I use a lot of silicone mud brand. It's called silicone mud. If you, yeah, it's it's the same brand as this one I saw, yeah. So if you see the word silicone mud, there's a website that you can buy a lot of molds under silicone mud, which has a better quality of silicone molds lah. Not to say they are not, I mean those China ones are not good. Like you say, maybe you're not sure whether how good the quality is, right? So even for this seal pad they have in silicone mud, they also have in silicone mud. This is seal pan. So this is seal pan. But HOI sells this Kokomo brand, right? Yeah. Mm. But under silicone mud, there's plenty and a lot of very nice molds actually. Silicone mud, the brand itself has a lot of very nice molds. The design, the shape. Melted? So I actually pre-make the cookie already also, so we don't need to waste time while waiting. And it's hot and it's hard to coat. So this is the shape of it, this, the cookie. I mean, this like a reef lah. even though it's a donut shape. I leave it overnight in room temperature, no need to chill. Cookie, because it's a normal cookie only. Sekejap, saya nak. Which one? Oh, marble, no. Too heavy to carry. But even though there's no marble, there's always other ways of doing tempering. So there's another way of doing tempering. So because tempering also very important, right? When you're working with couverture or chocolate. So of course, if you have a marble top, that will be the best and the fastest way. But if you're not very skillful to do tabling, there's another method, it's called seeding, which I will show also later. But now I'm going to do tabling first for the cookie one. Probably there's the next recipe, we are going to use some gold chocolate and also some 811. So one of it, I'll show you what's the meaning of seeding. So there's a difference in tempering, different method of tempering. But as a chocolatier, we always say we have 4 methods of tempering. 4. One is tabling, of course, the most common one that we always do. The second one will be the seeding method. Seeding will be basically just melting down the chocolate and adding fresh chocolate to it, and you continue to stir. That is seeding. So the third method that we also do is called microwave method. So microwave is more skillful. You need to understand and know your microwave better than when you want to melt your tempering chocolate. Meaning you put your chocolate in and you don't melt it completely. So it melts until like the desired temperature for dark, milk or white, then only it's ready to use. So it's a bit more skillful using microwave method for tempering. Then the fourth method that we have for cacao berry, we have this micro. So this micro powder is our technology for berry Callebaut group, that we have these cocoa butter crystals, very high in cocoa butter crystals, very easy to use. If you are not very familiar in doing tempering, it's very good because, like for example, if you melt 1 kilo of chocolate and you add 1% of the cocoa butter micro to that mixture, it is tempered really. This is how magic it is, our micro. Micro is a bit more expensive as well from cacao berry, but it's very useful if for people who are rushing, when they want to do tempering, they do not have time to stir and do tabling. So they just need to melt the chocolate to 35, then they add 1% of the micro to it, and it's tempered, really tempered. So this is the technology that we have from cacao berry as well for the micro cocoa powder. It comes in powder form. So it comes in powder form. So you just need to sprinkle into your couverture, and it's really like a magic thing that we have from cacao berry. Very useful for people who are rushing or they are not very skillful in doing tempering. So for now, like here I'll be 45, 30, a bit more. So usually for chocolates, I will melt down to 40 to 45 degrees first. So once it's melted down, then I will start doing my tempering process. So one more thing to highlight is if you don't have marble table, please do not do on your stainless steel. Do you know why? Bukan? No. Yeah, because the stainless steel table have metal, right? They are metals, right? So imagine if you are pouring chocolate to it and you start scraping. So you're actually incorporating metals to your chocolate. So we don't do tabling. If you don't have marble, just please don't do tabling method. That's the safest one. Because a lot of people I know, some places they probably think, oh, as long as stainless steel is cold, you can do tempering on the table on the stainless steel, which is not encouraged for me, because you're actually scraping a lot of metals to your chocolate as well. So, very good. Tahan lasak. But then, it's okay if you don't have a marble table, you can always go for other methods of tempering, which is seeding. Later I will show, but it will take a bit longer. It will take a bit more time, Tabling, of course, is the fastest way to do tempering, but then seeding, you need to stir quite long lah. For your hand muscle need to be strong as well. Granite, is it food grade? Like, hello? Because
consider good grade lah.
But it's not food grade, right? Granite is mainly
It's
for...
not food grade,
yes.
But it's good grade lah.
But I don't use granite lah. But granite, does it get cold? Because only marble will absorb.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
But I have not used granite before lah. But I think granite is mainly for construction, your house or anything, right?
Because it's polished. It's
Polished,
polished, so it's not porous.
Okay.
So I think it's slightly better than the marble, because marble is still natural stone. It's
Correct.
still porous.
Yes. But if you get good marble, right, you won't have holes at all. It also depends on what kind of marble that you get. So some marbles will have a lot of pores, and a lot of because they're not smooth, right? So that's why sometimes it's not easy to do tempering when you get dirty, a lot of contamination later. So usually I will still prefer to use a marble. It's better than no stainless steel for sure. So this chocolate is this is the next dark chocolate that I'm going to use for coating the cookie. So this is actually melted to 45 degrees already. So I will just do some tempering over here. So let's say 1 bowl of chocolate. Usually I will not pour all the chocolate out. I will leave about 1/4. 3/4 is here. About one more quarter is in the bowl. So then I will start the movement of tempering. So why do we need to temper chocolate is because chocolate has cocoa butter, right? So cocoa butter, we need to do a lot of create good crystals. So in order to create good crystals, we need to temper the chocolate. So in order for us to create more good crystals, we need to create more movement. By creating more movement, you can actually create more good crystals. So once you spread, then I'll put it back in the center. I'll check the temperature again. So I'll try to reduce it to 27 first, to cool it down until 27. So I'm just creating a lot of movements because I want to create more good crystals. So as you can see, when you pour the hot chocolate, it's actually quite fluid. As it gets colder, it becomes thicker. So it's not yet 30. So just try to heat hard a bit. Don't worry about the chocolate feeling the pain. So you just a bit more. So it depends on your room environment as well. So if your room is very cold, you might not need to move so many times. So this is the room here. I think it's about 20 plus maybe temperature. So it's not too bad. Getting there. Okay, a bit more. So it's important also to have a temperature gun. So when you're doing tempering, not by eyes, it's very hard to see, right? So you don't get a very accurate temperature. Okay, so it's about 27. Joey? So for when you're working in tabling, if your room is very cold, you need to work very fast as well. So sometimes the chocolate even set on the marble itself if you are not fast enough. So very important.
Laju. Zap. Tak jatuh lantai. Dia professional mah kan.
So yeah, once you do tabling, actually it's not very messy if you know how to work. It can be very clean as well. So you can start with your next tempering if you want, without any, you don't need to wipe it off first. You can continue doing the same.
Okay.
So once you pour the tempered chocolate to the warm one a bit, give it a stir again.
Stir again.
So for dark chocolate, usually I will temper the temperature because there's dark milk white, right? So usually you have to temper into 3 different temperatures, meaning for dark usually it's 30 to 31 degrees. So for milk will be 29. So white will be 27 or 28 degrees. So there's different temperatures. So this is already 31, which is good. So before I do any coating or I always, even though it's the correct temperature, I will always check first before I do any coating to ensure it sets nicely first. So I'll leave it to set. So probably for dark, usually it will take about a minute. So for milk, it will take slightly longer. Then white is the slowest. White is the longest one. For 40 to 45 degrees first. Then it's the same for milk and white as well. All chocolates melt 40 to 45. Bring it down to 27. Then it should go up to 31, like what I did just now. I don't pour all. I pour 3/4. 1/4 of the warm one is still in the bowl. So when you do marbling on the table, it's 27, it's too cold already. So in order to achieve 31, that's why we have the warm one here, we have to bring it back up to 31. So always when you're working, especially if you're doing tabling, very important to ensure your workstations are always dry, you know. You don't want some water to be, when you're doing tempering, it's not a very good thing. So always to keep your station dry and clean. Open up the... So from here, I can see from my view here, I can see the chocolate is already going to set. So you can see from the side already itself is starting to set already. So it's good for dipping. So usually I will just do a test first before I actually do any coating, just to ensure that the chocolate is properly tempered. Sometimes even by doing this, we might have some, sometimes crystals might not listen to what we want to do, they are not good. We need to do retempering again, meaning you have to melt down the chocolate again and do tempering process again. This is how chocolate works. Because sometimes even if you don't get a very good shine or it doesn't set nicely, you still need to start the process again, meaning melting down the chocolate to 40, 45, cool it down and bring it back up to the 31 degrees for dark. So yeah, so this is good to go. So I've already prepared the cookies in advance. So later you help me to just sprinkle. Okay. Yeah. So when I'm doing coating, I always like to really, like when you're, a lot of people will start to shake like this. But I like to ensure when your product touches your chocolate also when you're trying to, because with the gravity, it helps to pull down a bit more chocolate. So like this actually doesn't drop all the chocolate. You will have a very thick chocolate. So usually I will just dip it like this. So it doesn't, the gravity helps to pull down more chocolate from the excess on the coating. So that's how we do coating most of the time. So instead of just shaking it all the time, like people always like to do this, but I will do this by touching the chocolate itself and the cookie. It helps to pull down the chocolate coating itself more. So very important for chocolates, why we need to temper it, right? So you have the shine, you have the good look as well, no lines. If you try without tempering chocolate, I think your product will not set as well. Then you have a lot of fat lines coming, fat bloom coming out. All the chocolate doesn't really set nicely. It doesn't give a very nice snap as well. So Chef Joey is just helping me to like decorate it with some dry apricots, some pumpkin seeds, and also we have some cocoa nibs as well. So like for example, what would you do with after this, right? People will start to question, can I keep this? Is it gonna, how long can I keep this? But then it's, of course you can still always, once it crystallized already, right? So of course you can melt it back down and do the same process of tempering again. That's how we can use back chocolate again. It's not something that after one time it's spoiled or not. It's basically just chocolate. There's no dairy, no nothing, no. So it's still safe to use. I mean, if you store it properly, you keep it properly, you will not have any issue or anything. So you can see from here, the front, the coating is already started to set. So also usually what I will do if I have balanced chocolate, right? So I won't leave it in a bowl like this. So usually I will just lay it in a tray with paper, make it flat. Then it's easier for you to break or easier for you to melt in the next round that you want to do. Because in a bowl like this, when it hardens, it's very hard for you to melt. Then it tends to burn easily also, because it's just one lump. So usually I will just, like, for example, if this tray, you have a parchment paper, pour it and lay it on the tray. Let it become a thin layer of chocolate. So it's easier for you to break and easier for you to melt in the next round as well. So don't leave in a bowl like this. It's very hard for you to melt it down when you want to use the next time. Okay. Yang ini dah.
Okey, resepi pertama kita pun dah siap. Wah, cantik tu Ruby.
Tak. Ni cocoa nibs.
Oh, cocoa nib. Oh, ada juga warna tu.
Saya campur. Metallic powder. Oh yes, okay, just in case if you are asking why the cocoa nibs are pink in color. So I added metallic powders.
Oh, metallic powder.
So to get some color. So the cocoa nibs is also very dull in color. So I add some metallic powder so it becomes like pink and red. Okay. You leave to set first, then do the next one. Okay. Could you get ready the next recipe? So the next recipe will be the blueberry and pecan bar.
Pecan bar.
Joey, after she helped me to wash this also, I need to use. Pecan. So for the next recipe is initially I was planning to do cherry and pecan bar. So there's no cherry over dried cherry over here. So I'll
So kita guna
substitute.
blueberry. Resepi ni semua dah scan ke? Tak ada, dia nak cherry. Ada.
Tapi sekarang tak ada dah. Mereka ada blueberry aja.
Ada blueberry saja. Semua dah scan resepi ya? Okay.
So the ingredients is basically just chocolates and fruits and nuts. So it's something long shelf life as well because you don't use any dairy. So it's basically just chocolate and fruits and nuts. So previously I was the recipe that I used was cherry. So they do not have cherry here, so I'll use dried blueberry instead. Dried blueberry. Then in the recipe you can also see there's pecan nuts, there's gold chocolate over here. This is our Callebaut gold chocolate. Then icing sugar and the egg white is actually here with the nuts already. I already coated the nuts with egg white and icing sugar. I bake it, then I chop it already. So it's over here. So pecan nuts and the egg white and the icing sugar are here. Then the dried blueberry are here. Then here we have our cacao berry Houten. I'm not sure if you're all familiar. So cacao berry is also under Berry Callebaut group, right?
Saya
So
bawah ada juga, tapi pakai Houten lah.
correct. So this Houten is made with purely butter as well. So it's something very crispy. Whatever things that you make or even in your crunchy layer for your cakes, it stays very crunchy. It doesn't get soggy very fast. So people might think, oh, this is more expensive. Oh, but I want to use cornflakes. But then cornflakes will get very soggy very, very fast. So it's not to say that we want to promote more about Houten, but this one really helps to maintain the crunchiness of your cake, or when you're doing other products as well. So cornflakes or other rice crispy, those kind of things, they'll get soggy very fast one. So this biscuit is actually very good aroma. If you smell it, it's really made with butter. So it's under cacao berry brand as well. So for the coating, I'll be using 811 chocolate, just a normal 811 chocolate, and the filling will be just salted caramel. So I also like to use pecan a lot, but I know pecan is a bit more expensive, but the flavor of the pecan nuts is very different, than commonly using walnut, so boring, and almond also very boring. So I'll use pecan today. So very simple application. I will just need to melt down the gold chocolate. Once it's melted down and tempered, I will just mix all the other ingredients in. That's all. It's something very simple to make as well, but of course you need to temper your chocolate beforehand. Can? Go in. And start to melt this as well. No, dia nak do. Oh yeah, that one table. That one I can do seeding. Melt that one first, then. So the gold one, I'm going to show how we do tabling as well. Then the dark one, probably I'll just show how we do seeding. That's the method of tempering. Yeah. So any questions? Mm. No. No. When you're doing baking application, you don't need to temper your chocolate. Ruby will be a different ratio from the dark one. So let me say ruby. Ruby somehow because we need to. I need to look back my recipe because ruby you still need to, because when ruby chocolate, one thing about ruby is a bit more sensitive. Once you add dairy to the chocolate, the color does not look as pink as you want. So somehow for us, we still add. Sometimes we add raspberry puree with the cream together, or if we don't want to add any puree, we usually enhance the color by adding beetroot powder. That's how we will make ganache with ruby, because no matter how much chocolate you want to use, also the pink is not as pink as the chocolate it is once you add milk to make the ganache. So usually for us, we will enhance the color by adding puree or beetroot powder to make it pink again. Yes. Correct. This one probably will need more chocolate and less liquid, because ruby is more on the same category as like milk chocolate. Yes. So definitely like milk or white ganache, you definitely have to have a different recipe compared to your dark recipe, right? So for ruby is actually considered like a milk chocolate category. So gold as well is also like a milk category. So you need to see which recipe to use. You cannot just substitute the dark one with the ruby. So you still need to, like, if for us we always do R&D as well. So we need to adjust. If this consistency is not right, what should we do? We add more chocolate or reduce the cream, or that's how we do. And to enhance the color, that's what we always do, add beetroot powder. I mean, ruby is so natural because it becomes like this when the color deteriorates a bit when you add liquid to it. Yeah. So this is the gold chocolate. Okay. So for this, I'm going to do tabling as well. So it's a very small portion. Yes, must temper. If you don't temper, it will not set. Still a bit more, 28. Yeah, 40, this one was 45, so it's the same, 27 degrees. For gold, usually I will temper to 30, cool it down to 30. So we give it a stir. So for this one, I'll be using a silicone mold as well. So I'm going to pipe it into like a small financier mold like this. Yeah, the financier mold. So once I mold it here, once it sets, it's ready, then you can take it out to dip. So chocolate is about to set as well, so it's properly tempered. So I'll just mix all the ingredients in. So the pecan nuts, the dried blueberry, and the fullerton. So just give it a stir. So I'll just spoon into the mold. Yeah, it's a raw egg white. You coat the nuts first, then only icing sugar, then you bake it. Sorry? Yes, you need to bake the coated nuts. Oh, is
Kena kesabaran yang tinggi ya, buat.
Yeah, because you need to temper chocolate.
Slow buat.
Melted already. So once. Oh, never mind. You can take from the packet there. So never mind. It's okay. Never mind. Ready? long, not yet? No. Hmm? Long more? Also, yeah, just to let you know, like making rocher, right? I also like to, instead of just baking your almond strips just like that, I always like to coat with the same method as well, egg white and icing sugar. When you're making a plain rocher, almond rocher, right? So the almonds also I'll do the same method. I'll coat a bit of like egg white and icing sugar and bake it. So it gives a better crunch and it helps to prevent your nuts from getting soggy as well. So it's actually very tasty when you actually roasted your nuts with the icing sugar and egg white to give a crust. Of course, you can for like this, you can actually serve it just like that as well, but then you'll get soggy faster. So that's why our coat will be with chocolate. So it helps to maintain the freshness of the crunchiness also as well. So it's not about using more chocolate, but actually it helps to prevent it from getting soggy. But of course, if you don't have a silicone mold like this, or you don't want to use a silicone mold, you can always spoon it as well, like doing rocher. Spoon it and then dip it as well, the same method as we're going to do now. So over here, there's extra. Before chopping, yes. So over here, I'm going to do seeding method. So this is another method of doing tempering. So for now, this one I'll just do seeding. So seeding meaning seeding, S-E-E-D. S is seeding. So what do we mean by seeding is actually adding fresh chocolates to your melted chocolate. So this is seeding. That's why we call it seeding. So it's the same, 40 to 45 degrees.
Kita bake ke kita masuk dalam itu?
No. After molding, we just leave it to set. Once it's set, it's ready to be coated. Tak payah bake. It's a non-baked product. Just need to know how to temper. Chocolate makes everything. Let it set, then we dip. Yep. So usually I will put a handful of chocolate into the bowl first.
Dia tak ni dia still ada shape dia. Dia tak macam pecah.
Tak, sebab this is just chocolate and nuts, and they help to with the mold. It helps to, even if you kejap boleh keluar dah. So a bit more. So by seeding, what I mean by seeding is like we continue to add fresh chocolates to the melted chocolate. So melted chocolate already has bad crystals, right? So all these callets, we call it callets here. So all these callets are good crystals chocolates, meaning they are tempered chocolate already. So these are all good crystals over here. So in order to create more good crystals in your melted chocolate over here, you need to add good crystals, and when you add it into the bad crystals, they start to create more and more good crystals. And once it's ready, then actually when you reach the temperature, the chocolate is actually tempered already. So it's important to like seeding, we continue to stir like this until it's completely melted first. Then you check the temperature again. Then if it's not there yet, you keep adding a bit more and continue stirring. So that's why seeding usually will take a bit longer when you want to do tempering. Same, you have to reach to 30 to 31 for dark. Yes. So that's why seeding usually will take a longer time because you need to
Kalau
stir.
macam tadi kita dah apa cairkan coklat lain kan. Lepas tu kita nak tambah ni, kalau kita masak dalam microwave lagi tak boleh.
No,
Kenapa?
this is very warm.
Tapi itulah ambil masa lama sikit.
Seeding usually take a longer time because you need to stir until the carrots are all melted down. Then we need to check the temperature again. If it's not there yet, we still need to add a bit more until it reaches 30 to 31 degrees for dark. Sure, belum 35 I think.
35, 36 okey lah.
Belum
So dia nak berapa?
31.
31.
So very important as well, if your room is warm, right, it will take even longer for you to do tempering.
Sikit hari ada masa.
Sudah ada. Maybe that one you just put a while in the chiller. Just want to set for a while, then easy for you to unmold because we need to dip. Just a while only. But usually I won't put in a chiller. But here because it's a bit warm, so I need to put it in the chiller for a while for me to easy to unmold. But I'll just usually leave it overnight, wrap it nicely. Then the next day you can dip already. Belum.
Dah berapa suhu dia tadi? 30.
Satu. Lambat. Ambil masa sikit. So that's why for us, if you are a professional, if you know how to do tabling is always the fastest way. This one will take a bit of your time if you want to do tempering, doing seeding method. Tabling very fast, less than 1 minute, you already can get it done. But for us in the academy, we have chocolate tempering machines as well. So it saves our time a lot when we are doing preparation for any production or anything. So the tempering machine actually helps us to do the tempering already. So we just need to pour the chocolate there and press, and it helps to temper the chocolate already. Very big is like this trolley. It circulates like this. Belum. Before the pandemic, Before the pandemic, we conducted a lot of class for beginners, intermediate, and advanced. And sometimes we also have master classes. So we have master classes, and we invite guest chefs from famous guest chefs, celebrity chefs to come over to conduct classes as well. But now, as of now, we are not moving towards that direction that much. We are more customer focused. So we are actually inviting customers to come for classes for free. we invite our customers in, like for instance in Singapore, we invite our customers there for training, give them ideation, we give them ideas on like for example, they are looking for ideas for Christmas, so we will create something for like a presentation for them or have a hands-on training for them. That's what our direction is now. But of course, for like this year, we also had a bit of master classes. We had Frank has not coming to academy as well. So we have a few master classes with celebrity chefs, those famous chefs. So next year will be a different group of chefs they will be coming into Singapore as well for the master class. So you can always visit our website. So we have website as well for Callebaut. Also we have website. If you have not been to our Callebaut website, you can always visit our Callebaut website. There's plenty of recipes. You don't need to pay for it. It's all there. And also a lot of tutorials for you to learn. If you don't know how to do tempering, you can click on the video and it will show you how to do tempering. So,
Kalau ini scan dia keluar ni.
yeah,
Ini boleh scan.
boleh, the QR code. So actually, our page, Callebaut page or even Cacaoberry page, we have a lot of information there, from the product itself to the recipes to tutorials as well. So feel free to go and explore a bit if you have the time.
Nampak tu, ambil masa. Berapa kali saya scan? 34. 33.
Not yet.
Kalau saya dah tak nak dah.
Yeah, when working with chocolate, I think you need to have a lot of patience as well.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can just melt and use it straight away. So it's testing your patience as well if you are using couverture.
Dia bercinta, kena buat dia bercinta.
Enough already. That one can take out already, right? I think. So any questions while waiting for this tempered chocolate?
Ada dia tulis?
Yes. Of course they do. They have a lot. Like even the graph is there. Here you can see the graph. That how I was explaining 40 to 45 drop going down. So there's a graph here. So there's actually a lot of information. If you see around, you can see actually. You pass. Yes, but I think if you go to the website, it's more detailed.
Oh, dia jalan.
Can more? Yeah, more put in one side. Put one side, then one side for me do coating. Put one side here. Yeah. Yes, that one you can do for Chinese New Year. Then brush a bit of gold powder. So atas.
Itu.
Dekat. Okay, never mind.
Soalan, ada soalan ke? Sekejap. Jauh saya nak jalan.
Hi. When for the seeding method, because I keep the chocolate in the fridge, so like when you add the pellets, do you have to keep it to the room temperature first, or can you add it while it's cold straight from the fridge? Will that affect the outcome?
I don't store my chocolate in the fridge. That's number one.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So yesterday I was talking about it also to our customers yesterday. So those who came yesterday, they probably know how I store my chocolates. Number one is I don't store my chocolates in a chiller. One main reason is because that chiller has a lot of humidity. So that's why when you want to take it out and melt your chocolate, it becomes very thick, because there's a lot of water content in your chocolate already. The moisture from the chiller, the chocolate absorbs all the moisture from the chiller. So that's why I know, because in our country it's always very warm and hot, right? So everyone just store their chocolate in the chiller, which is not encouraged. That's why when you want to melt your chocolate again, it becomes very thick, because a lot of moisture already absorbed to your chocolate. That's why no matter how you want to melt it, it's also very going to be thick. So it cannot be safe actually. But then with that chocolate already thickened, right? Of course you cannot do any coating, for example. You cannot do any coating anymore. But you can use it for a baking application. Like for example, if you're going to do brownies, or you're going to do something sponge or cake based with chocolate, then you still can use that chocolate. It's still safe to use for you. I mean, if it's thickened. But definitely, if you are talking about when you want to do any enrobing or coating, right, you have to use a fresh chocolate that is not kept in the chiller.
Then may I know what's the best way of keeping chocolates then?
So for like here, sometimes I know we don't turn on our aircon 24 hours. If the best I will suggest is still a very dry and cool area. Somewhere that you in your house, probably there's a room that is not as warm as your kitchen, or your storeroom, where it's just hot air there. So it's better to keep that way. Another method that I also see, I always tell customers if they can invest in a wine cellar. Wine cellar, right? So wine cellar comes in like this size as well, very small and handy. So wine cellar has the best temperature to store your chocolate actually. If you don't want to invest in turning on your aircon 24 hours, that's the best solution I can give for for us in Asia, the countries where it's hot. So everywhere we go, also we face a lot of problems like this. We keep chocolates in the chiller. So when they want to use or even compound, they keep in the chiller. Then everything, when they want to melt it, then they say, they complain it's hard, it's thick, not like what we first bought it and use it. So because then we always investigate and ask them, how do you store your chocolate first? So that's like what when you say you took out from your chiller, that is a big no-no already. So that's why if you are willing to invest in a wine cellar, a small wine cellar, that's the best temperature. 14 to 18 degrees is good to keep your chocolate. I would suggest that if you don't want to turn your AC 24 hours a day, right? So that's the best. For us, it's different because we are at academy. Our aircon runs 24 hours because we have a lot of chocolate. So our chocolates are on in the cold room temperature, so it doesn't have problem like this when you want to melt it. Check. Okay. So before coating, I will always, I will check, see whether it sets nicely first before I proceed. Then, over here is the ready one that I used the mold just now. So over here, I also made some chocolate decoration. So once I dip it, I'll decorate it with some chocolate decoration for Christmas as well. It's not the cake ring. Where's the cake ring? Should be fine. Okay, so now I'm going to dip this. You help me to put a deco. Yeah, that one. So also, if you're a chocolate manufacturer or you're a chocolate producer, if you have a machine, we also have a machine that helps us to enrobe all this by going through the tunnel. So, but this is more artisanal also. By doing hand dip, is more. You can claim it to be a hand dip praline. Then instead of a machine that we use to enrobe is different. So this is more hand dip pralines that we can call it. Lebih kurang sama. Tapi Evan dan pun kena dip satu-satu juga kan. Sebab tu mereka pakai compound. Doesn't matter. Okay. You nak tanya soalan ke? Tak ada free gift.
Ada apa-apa soalan tak? Kita dah nak hampir siap dah ni. Tapi nanti sebelum ni jangan keluar dulu, kita ada sampling nak bagi you all rasa.
Chef Amanda, can you explain what is enrobing?
Enrobing is actually usually a term that we use when we use the machine to enrobe things, meaning it goes through the tunnel. Enrobing is more like coating.
So it's coating, so you are now doing enrobing by hand?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Soalan? Question?
So enrobing by hand will of course also take a lot of time, right? So by doing one by one, with the machine, of course, is at one shot you can actually coat all together already. Hmm. Huh? Oh, it's from IBC, our company also. Mm. Okay, finishing soon.
Kita dah nak habis dah.
Ah.
Finish already. Duduk je depan.
Okay, done.
Okey kelas, kita dah habis dah untuk demo yang resepi kedua. So ada apa-apa soalan tak sebelum kita tamatkan kelas? Tapi jangan keluar dulu. Hah? Jangan keluar dulu, kita akan bagi you guys sampling, then kita nak ambil gambar.
So leave it for it to set for a while first. You can
Gambar saja.
display the big one, the cookie.
Sekejap
Ah, boleh? Just pass me. Ini letaknya. Satu lagi kat sini juga. Ah. Hmm. Ngồi phòng packaging làm này ạ.
Sorry.
Ừ.
Cậu cũng
Nak,
Boleh tercantik je.
可以擺翻大水，好似頭先咁容易啲啊。
Jangan usik perempuan buat kerja.
Okay, so,
Okey, dia tengah apa?
ah,
Okey, dah.
sekejap.
Okey, siapa nak ambil gambar boleh ke depan ya. Ambil gambar ni lah. Makanan. Tak ada. Hadiah pun tak ada nak bagi. Takkan saya nak bagi ni pula. Betul.
Ni tak ada, yang ni tak ada ruby, yang ni tak ada ruby. Big one, yeah, definitely. Need to adjust. Ah. Cookie.
Oh, I know. Okay. Rekod kan? Rekodkan tadi. Boleh ke? Dekat sangat ke jauh sangat? Ha? Okey. Okey. Okey lah kot. Okey. Dah habis pun kelas kita yang sesi pertama. So terima kasih yang mana stay dalam live kita, yang selalu sangat join kita punya live, walaupun busy bekerja tapi masih lagi still tengok kita punya live kan. So tadi dah dapat 2 resepi. So jumpa lagi petang nanti 2 resepi, tapi resepi yang berbeza bersama dengan Chef Aminda juga. Resepi apa kita tak pasti, kita kena tengok tahu petang nanti. So ini sajalah, habis pun awal, sebelum pergi pukul 12 dah habis. Itu sahaja daripada kami. Maaf kalau ada salah dan silap ataupun daripada teknikal ke ataupun suara tak dengar ke kan, lighting ke apa, anything lah. Minta maaf daripada saya. Okey, itu sahaja untuk pagi ini. Terima kasih. Jumpa lagi nanti petang. Bye.